Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Red Ed Miliband has got a bee in his bonnet about energy. He seems to think that we need to destroy this country in order to meet some imaginary invented number that's come from who knows where in order to save the planet. It won't, of course, not while we keep buying crap from China. And yet, in his mind, he thinks this is the most important thing. He says we must be aware because it's an emergency of such dire proportions that if we don't do it in the next 2 years, the world will end. It won't, of course. This is just Ed Miliband being a dick. But in order to meet his mad, incomprehensible targets that would destroy everything in this country and add, or give, shall we say, a competitive advantage to every other nation in the world, we'd have to do a hell of a lot of things. There'd be onshore wind farms would have to double in size and scale. Offshore wind farms, I believe, would have to triple in size and scale. There'd have to be huge increases in battery capacity, solar farms, everything. Now, these solar farms need land, but fortunately, there's lots of farmland. And so they can kill two birds with one stone, cover all the farmland with solar cells, meaning not only do they get all this energy from the sun, but at what cost? Just look at where they dig up the raw materials for these solar farms. And secondly, it will help destroy the farmland in this country, forcing us to be completely reliant on imports, and therefore you can starve the population into submission when we get uppity. That's the plan. Of course, all these solar farms things are all built by China, so by covering the land in that, you're making China even richer at our cost. Seems an odd way of doing it. On top of that, you're going to have to stretch out the lives of existing nuclear power stations, past safety points, perhaps. They don't want to invest in new nuclear energy, rather. But who knows? It may have to be, but that'll cost a lot of money as well. And they're doing all this because it's got to happen now. They're talking about energy restrictions, and during peak hours, you're not allowed to boil your kettle. Because hey, we haven't got the energy capacity. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Why is that then? Closing down all the coal power stations, all the gas-fired stations. We've got 22,000 years worth of coal. We've got 9,000 years worth of gas left. Yeah, but let's close it down now because, China's not rich enough or something. He'll have to change all the planning laws, of course. That needs to go through, but I'm sure it will. It's going to cost hundreds of billions. It's going to cost 100 billion just to upgrade the national grid, for example. So it's many, many hundreds of billions of pounds. And it must happen now. It's a big emergency. It must happen now. Now, of course, he can't just say that to people because, that would be wrong. That would, people go, are you mad? So what he needs is a nice piece of independent advice. He needs to have a report that said these are exactly the sort of things that need to be done. If only there was a report. And of course, he can manufacture one, can't he? Because there is a company called the National Energy System Operator, National Energy System Operator Limited. It's a limited company. And it's come up with an independent report saying, strangely enough, exactly what Ed Miliband needs it to say. That's lucky, isn't it? Well, it seems that perhaps it's not so lucky after all, because it turns out that the National Energy System Operator Limited is owned by one E. Miliband. He owns over 75% of the shares. He owns over 75% of the voting rights. He has the ability to appoint and to fire directors. And it's strange how this independent company, Ed Miliband's company, is the one producing the reports that he needs to push through his completely mad ideas that would destroy our farmland, that would destroy our green belts, that would rip up planning laws, that would cover our country in expensive, inefficient bird choppers that take more energy to build than they can ever produce. But he wants to do it so that he can look good and leave a legacy. That legacy, of course, would be an utterly devastated country peppered with these horrible bird choppers that only work half the time, if that, or vast swathes of our countryside destroyed permanently with chemically leaching solar panels that cause who knows what effects on the local environment that will damage not just the land under, but the life of the creatures under it as well, because whole ecosystems would have to be destroyed in order to meet this. If you want to put solar up, why not put it in towns on top of buildings and garages or on parking bays or through the centre line of motorways and things like that? Why dig up rich, good, fertile farmland unless the idea is to dig up rich, fertile farmland? Because with that and the attack on farmers, you can see the direction of travel when it comes to food production in this country. They don't like the idea of this country producing enough food for people. Oh no, siree, Bob, we can't starve them. And so they kill two birds, one stone. It's great, isn't it? But this will go on, and we are being forced to pay for it. And this is what happens when the 20% who voted for Labour vote for Labour, and we end up with a government of sheer incompetent madmen, loathsome madmen at that, who are actively destroying everything this country has. Our economy, our culture, our very physical being, our land, our landscapes. They want to destroy it all. It's cheaper to put, here's the thing, it's cheaper to put cabling through the ground. Ed Miliband lies to Parliament, lied and said, no, it's a matter of fact, we've got to put pylons up, they're cheaper. They're not. They're way more expensive, number one. And number two, by putting them up, you're destroying natural beauty. Also part of it, they want this post-apocalyptic vision of Britain. They want visions. They have visions of Britain just being one huge industrialised island, leaching toxins with destroyed air, and everyone wandering around in poverty and misery and hunger like zombies. And we are honestly getting to the point of, and I know, and here's the thing, I know people often compare this government with 1984. I think it's more the time machine. You have the Eloi, who are the elite at the top, and then us at the bottom working the machines, and we're sitting there, and we'll actually evolve downwards. Go and watch the film, and that's where we're at. The whole of Britain will be one huge, dark, satanic mill. That seems to be the vision of the Miliband of this world. And Starmer seems to be all up for it. They all do. What is wrong with these people? Is there something broken inside? But it's quite clear, though, through Miliband owning the National Energy System Operator and claiming it as independent in reporting, that he's got a vested interest in what he's doing. And you want to make sure that he's not benefiting financially. What other companies does he own? What other companies are being used? And how much is being paid for these reports? Because if one brass farthing of public money has gone into that company, then that's corruption in office. That is a serious offence. Not only should Miliband resign, he should be imprisoned. Let's keep an eye on all of them. Thanks very much. Bye.